we're going for a different setup right now. But okay, this can work. So we're gonna continue to build wealth in your 20s series. Guys, I am not even at my house. I am at my apartment in Houston. You guys know, if you know, I have an apartment in Conroe. I have an apartment in Houston. But anyways, building wealth in your 20s. How compound interest. So we're going to be talking about how compound interest can help you become wealthy over time. So number one, the first thing that we're going to start off with is the best time to begin building wealth is in your 20s. The reason why is because I want you guys to take time right now. If you can't, click over to another tab if you're watching this on like your computer, and if you're not, stop watching this live. And I want you to go click over, and I want you to go look at a compound interest bell curve. Interest, compound interest is the secret to becoming wealthy. Compound interest. So we have to clearly define what compound interest is. What is compound interest? So, compound interest, simply stated, is interest that is accumulated over time. So, what compound interest looks like on a bell curve. So I'm gonna take you guys through two examples. So I'm gonna take you guys through a loan example. Some of you guys might have a car payment, a personal. Uh-oh, the phone fell, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I'm trying a different setup here, trying to make this work. Okay. Um, yeah, some of you guys might have a car payment. Yeah, some of you guys might have a car payment. Some of y'all might have a house note. Some of y'all might have personal loans and so forth. So if you notice, if you look at an amortization schedule, so what is an amortization schedule? Amortization schedule is basically showing you the interest amount and the payment amount, what's going towards your principal every month. And so it's showing you that schedule for the duration of the loan. So if you have a car note and you signed on the dotted line for 72 months, then what you can do is create an amortization schedule for that 72-month loan. And so what that's going to do is show you how each payment that you make, how much money is going to go towards interest and how much is going to go towards the principal of the loan. So y'all stay with me, okay? So the principal amount is the amount that you paid for the vehicle, but the bank has to be incentivized to do the deal. So how they incentivize themselves to do the deal is they charge interest for the loan that you're doing. So they use, for example, like with a car, they use the car itself, the tangible item, as the collateral for the loan. Similarly, like with a house, they'll use the house itself as collateral for the loan. So that means basically, yeah, we're charging you this interest, but if you don't pay this note, we have the house, we have the car as collateral. We can try to recoup some of the money that we didn't get from you because you defaulted on the loan. So, but anyways, y'all stay with me. So, interest is what incentivizes a bank to do a loan. So we're talking about personal loans, home loans, auto loans. Interest is what incentivizes a bank to do the loan. So you look at the bell curve, right? If you have it pulled up right now, you will see that during the first 3 to 4 years of the loan, right, you're paying mostly interest. And every payment that you make, you're paying most of that money towards interest. But you'll see in about year 4, year 5, that the curve starts to shift. It starts to shift, and now you're paying more money towards the principal than you are in interest. So these are how loans are constructed. This is how a compound interest loan is constructed. The loan is front loaded with interest. You see, And so as you pay that principal, loan down, as you pay the principal amount down, now you're paying more towards interest. I mean, you're paying more towards the principal than you are interest. So the reverse works when you invest. The same thing works when you invest, but you're on the side of compound interest. You're receiving compound interest. You're not paying out compound interest. So basically, the bank is the investor. They're making money on the interest, right? And so what I'm trying to get you guys to do is to flip that narrative, and I want you guys to be the ones who are receiving interest. So how does compound interest work? So we've already established what compound interest is. Compound interest is interest that is accumulated over time. So, in the scope of life, if you begin investing in your 20s, in your 30s, even, you have more time. Time is more on your side for investing than if you begin at 40 or you begin at 50. And like we said, as we define what compound interest is interest that is accumulated over time. So what does that mean? If you have more time to accumulate interest, then what does that calculation mean? You're going to have more interest. You're going to have more money made from interest because you've had more time to accumulate that interest. So you can take the same $100,000, you can put it in when you turn 40, you can take $100,000, or you can take $100,000 right now at 20. I know I'm just throwing an example out there. I know that most of you guys might not have $100,000 right now. Some of you guys might, but you might have $100,000 at 20. And if you leave that money invested and you don't touch it for the next 40 years, you will accumulate more. Let's say you make a 10% return, 10% return on your investment. You will accumulate more money over that period of time than you will if you begin at 40. Why? Because you have an extra 20 years. And so what 20 years, let's see, 20 times 12. I'm not a mathematician, but you guys do the math. You have X amount more months to accumulate interest. See, time is on your side when you start to invest as a young person. So let's put everything together. How can we practically apply what I'm saying? So, what we understand, compound interest is interest that is accumulated over time. The name of the game is to get on the side of the equation where you're accumulating interest and you're not paying interest. This is why we go back to the last video that I had. You don't want to buy. Wealthy people don't own hard um, consumer consumer items that have loans attached to them. They don't own cars that are $100,000. They might own a car. Okay, I'm not going to exaggerate. They might own a car. They don't own a car that's $100,000. They don't own a house that's $1 million house. That's not how you become wealthy. Because at the end of the day, when you really break it down, if you own $1 million house, you don't own that house until you have paid off that loan completely. The bank owns that house. You just basically a renter in so many words. You paying to live in it until you pay off that final payment, and you have paid them their $1 million that you borrowed and so forth. You don't own the house. You have no ownership. You have rights as a property owner so far as long as you pay the note. But the moment that you stop paying the note, those property rights go away, and so you don't have true ownership. And that's another thing about property, is really in the United States. I don't know how other countries are, but you really truly never have like 100%, 100% ownership of a house, simply because you have an HOA that might be involved. The HOA dictates certain characteristics that the house has to be. And then you also have property taxes that even if you own a house, there's no loan on the house. Your property taxes that you have to pay, and if you don't pay the property taxes, the government has the authority to take your house from you if you don't pay the taxes. So you really never have like total ownership of a house, even if you don't have a note, even if you pay the house off, you still don't have total ownership. So getting back, circling back, right? Wealthy people don't own these assets. I mean, not these assets, these liabilities that have loans attached to them where they're paying interest, because they're trying to be on the other side of the equation where they're getting interest, not on the side of the equation where they're paying interest. I mean, just think about it. If you have a car note, the average person who's paying the note, if you haven't established your credit, you go buy a car right now, your interest is gonna be 7 or 8%. And if you go buy a $30,000-$40,000 car, I mean, you're talking about 7 8% over 6 years on $40,000. I mean, that's well over $10,000 in interest that you're paying. Think about it, if you pay that same $10,000. We're not even gonna take the price of the vehicle. Let's think about if we just paid $10,000 and we put that into a stock market and we let that grow over time. What would it be rather than paying Chase Bank, paying Bank of America, and so forth? Not to mention that the $40,000 car that you bought is not even worth the $40,000 that you're asking for, especially after the 6 years that you paid a note. It's not even worth that. It's probably worth about 75% of it, maybe $10,000. So you then lost money on the depreciation of the asset itself, which it's an asset to the bank views it as an asset. So you've lost depreciation on the vehicle itself, and then you've also lost on the interest. I mean, just think about that. You probably sat out there and lost anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000. Again, imagine if you had $30,000. We're talking about over a 6 year period of time. Imagine if you had $30,000 invested and you're getting compound interest on that investment. So the point that I'm trying to drive home in this video, if you're young, you're trying to build wealth, is to start now. Doesn't matter how much you start with. You want to start building the habit of saving money. You want to start building the habit of investing money. You want to start building the habit of gaining compound interest. Because the thing about compound interest is it's what I like to call a terror barrier, right? So when you first start investing, you're gonna be putting money in, and it ain't gonna really be making no money. It might go down a little bit, might go up a little bit, and you're gonna be doing that for a couple years. And like I showed you guys on the bell curve, you're not really gonna be seeing that money move. That money's gonna basically be right about at like what you put it at. Maybe if you bought some good investments, it might, ascend a lot, but typically it's not going to be worth too much more or too much less than what you put in the cash amount, the principal amount that you put into it. But then the curve starts to invert up. And once it begins to go up, if you guys look at the curve, you have it pulled up. Once the curve goes up, it doesn't go back down. Once the curve goes up, it's going up, and it goes up rapidly. And so the thing about it, and basically what this bell curve is showing you is the more money you have, the easier it is to make money. This is why people wonder why rich people stay rich, why wealthy people stay wealthy. When you already got money, it's easy to not be broke again, unless you just, you got character flaws, you spinning your wheels and so forth. But it's easy to make money when you already got money. I give you guys an example of how compound interest can work for you if you already got money. So let's say you've been diligent in your 20s, right? You've been putting your money aside. You've been putting your money aside. Okay, you look up, you 30, let's say you 35 years old. You've been staying diligent for 15 years. You look up, the bell curve has gone up. You look up, you've been making your contributions every month. You look up, you got $1 million in the bank. So once you got $1 million in the bank, you can sit over here and say, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna buy me some dividend stocks. That's what I'm gonna do. I got $1 million now. I've been staying disciplined for 15 years. I'm gonna go buy me some dividend stocks. So you got $1 million. You can go say, okay, I'm gonna go buy Chevron. Chevron is a great dividend company to buy. Not saying you guys should go do this, but I'm just saying hypothetically, you gonna say, okay, I got $1 million. I'm gonna go buy Chevron. So you go buy Chevron. All right. So you put $1 million in Chevron. Now, next thing you know, you getting paid $50,000 a year from the dividends from Chevron, and on top of that, you own $1 million worth of asset in a company. So that's how, when you already got money, you can make more money. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Uh-oh, my freaking camera got all sorry. That's what, hold on, it's all good. Okay. God dang it. I'm sorry, y'all. Come on, can you stay with me? Stay with me. Stay with me. Come on. Okay, we're gonna try that. So when you already got money, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You starting when you're 20, and you bust your butt for 15 years, you gonna have money, because the bell curve, like I said, once the bell curve goes up, it goes up. I encourage you guys to look at the bell curve, because it doesn't go down. I have not seen a bell curve, a compound interest bell curve, that goes down. Compound interest, unless you are making bad investments, which that's a whole nother conversation of like how to invest, how to make sound investments. But unless you are making bad investments, your compound interest will continue to grow. And you will look up, like I said, you'll be 35, you got a $50,000 income, and you 35, and you got $1 million asset, and you only 35. You know what you can do with $50,000 a year, that you're not even working for. This is just your money making money for you. Now, if you're smart, what you'll go do, compound interest. If you're smart, what you'll go do is you'll take that $50,000, that dividend that you're receiving. You ain't gonna go, a lot of people, they gonna get the $50,000. They're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna go to the Bahamas, I'm a vacation, I'm gonna go cruise. No, what you do with that $50,000 is you reinvest your dividends. So you reinvest your dividends. Next thing you know, by the time you're 40, because like I said, the bell curve is very rapid. Once you already got money, it's easy to make more money. So you got your $50,000 income, right? You're reinvesting the dividends. Next thing you know, you're 40. You're 40, you got $2 million. Next thing you know, you got $2 million, and you're putting all that money back into Chevron. Next thing you know, you're 40. You got $2 million, and now you got $100,000 income. So you 40. You didn't put your work in for 20 years. You 40, you got $100,000 income. If you never and for the most part in America, if you got if you're making $100,000, that's six figures. If you're making $100,000, like you're good, right? So at 40, you've literally set yourself up with an income, and you have the hard asset, $2 million, which you can cash out anytime you want. If you want to just cash out and pay Uncle Sam 20%, you can go do that. You go live on your $20 million, and you can go, ride the sunset. But at 40, you got $100,000 income plus the $2 million asset. You never have to work again in your life. You don't have to. So if you put in, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, if you put in a good 20 years while you're young, and you let compound interest work for you, you can be 40 years old and never have to work again in your life. And this is just, you know, getting a good job, saving the money, and investing the money. This is not to say like you go do something like be the next Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs or somebody, and you go and you start a business, and now that income is exponential. This is just work, save, invest, work a decent job, save a decent amount, invest. By the time you're 40, the equation, I mean, like I said, look up the bell curve. The bell curve, I haven't seen one that goes down. So that's the equation. That is the equation. Let me see. I got one person in here. I wonder if this person is commenting. Okay, I don't think that they're commenting because I think that I would see them if they were. If you guys were commenting, I think that I would see it on the screen. Do not see it on the screen, so I don't believe that you're commenting. But that's really all I have. This video, I wanted to talk about how you can leverage compound interest to become wealthy. Compound interest, I'm gonna just give you guys a summary one more time, then I'm gonna get up out of here. Compound interest is interest that is accumulated over time. So, what do you want to do with that? If you have interest that is accumulated over time, then you want to give your interest the most amount of time to accumulate. And the best time to start accumulating interest is right now, as a young person. You want to be on the right side of the interest game because banks are already in the interest game. Car loans, home loans, personal loans, they in the interest game because the interest game is one of the best games to make money in. Think about it. You paying the bank right now if you got an auto loan. You paying them every month. They getting that money. So you want to be on the right side though of the interest game. See, the banks, the creditors and so forth, they're on the right side of the game. So I'm trying to get you guys to get on the right side of the game. Don't be on the wrong side of the game out here buying cars, making General Motors rich, making Chase Bank, Bank of America rich, making all these other companies rich. No, build your own wealth. And then here's the thing: when you get $100,000 income, when you're 40 and you have that $100,000 income and you got your $2 million asset, hey, you can go buy whatever you want. I mean, you got $100,000 income, and that's without you working anymore. I would assume, at 40, if you're able-bodied and so forth, that you would continue to work. You can go buy whatever you want. It's not even a big deal. So that's how you leverage compound interest, y'all. If there's any questions, I do see there's one person in here. So if there's any questions, I will stick around just a little bit for some questions and conversation. If not, in the next 30 seconds, I will be getting out of here. I just had to drop this gem on you guys. I just had to give it to you. I'm trying to, I can't really make videos sit like and edit videos, but it's a lot in my head that like I want to give to the world. Like it's a lot in my head that I know. Like if people knew what I know in my head, like it's gonna change your life forever. So it's just like my videos might not look the most traditional. They might not look edited and pretty or whatever. But if you're listening to this, like, man, it's gonna change your life forever. Braden, I remember you, man. How you been doing? Are you doing okay? I remember you from a couple lives ago, probably like a year ago. I think I remember you on my video on my live stream. How you been doing, man? It's good to have you in here, man. Hopefully you're getting this knowledge and so forth that I'm trying to give out here. Yeah, man, I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm practicing what I preach. I'm not telling y'all nothing that I'm not doing. It's literally getting to the point where like I'm about to be like showing y'all, like I'm about to literally like start to like make videos where I show y'all my account because I don't want to be like one of those people that's like saying like, oh, you need to do this, but like behind the scenes, like you ain't doing it. Like I practice what I preach, and I literally want to be that like transparent with what it is that I do. And so I'm getting to that point where that might be the next step. in the channels like trajectory is just like being transparent as heck. Like, let's go on this journey together. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna show you like what I do works. I know that it works. I've seen it. I know people who've done this, so I've seen it and I know that it works. Um, so I'm trying to give the world a game, man. Because if people got this, man, their lives would change forever. It really would. But yeah, man, I've been doing well, so it's good that I'm glad that you're doing good too. Um, did you have any questions about the content? Oh, my AirPod just died. So, okay, he said, what do you think about short squeezes, squeezing out the short sellers on highly shorted stocks like BBY? Hold on, let me go, because it just, lots of excitement on Reddit on Wall Street, but, so, hold on, let me pull up your comment again, Raiden. It's weird doing this on the phone. Like, I ain't never did a live stream. It won't let me pull up the comment again, but it's all right. I cannot. Can you still hear me? Cause my AirPod did die. Can you hear me? Cause I'm gonna tell you what I think. But I want to make sure that you can hear me before I do that. Okay, cool. So short. Oh my gosh, man, the camera. It's so crazy. Okay, hold on. Okay, we going. Man, okay, I'm having technical difficulties, Braden. I'm sorry, man. It's just this is kind of. Let me see if I can. All right, we're just gonna do it like this, man. So, what I think about short selling. So, you have to understand. I don't know if you understand about what short selling is, but I'm just gonna give you like a brief, like synopsis of what short selling is. So basically, short selling is when you have a bunch of sellers that are trying to like squeeze the stock, right? So how can I break this down where it just makes sense for you? The people that control so like me and you, like just an average investor doesn't control the market. Like we don't have enough money in the market. We don't have enough liquidity in the market to really make a difference in the price action of the stock. So when you see a short selling situation, basically what has happened is you have a bank, you have an institution, because sometimes it can be a hedge fund, and basically what they're doing is they're trying to get all the retail investors caught in the up. Like it might be a situation where they're shorting it and it's going up, or they might be shorting it going down. But either way, like they're trying to get the retail investors caught on like the hype. So I've seen when you're shorting it on the high, they call it a pump and dump. So they'll pump it up. They'll pump it up, and they know the stock isn't worth whatever they pumped it up to, but they'll pump it up to that. They'll get all the retail investors, people like you and me, who some people who may not really know what they're doing. All they do is they just see it going up, and so they're like, "Oh, this is going up. I'm going to buy." So they buy, and what they do is they go and sell. After they got all the retail investors in it, they go and sell. And so guess what? Guess what? Who makes the money on that? Who makes the money on that? I'm gonna see if you can guess who makes the money. When the big institutions sell, when the hedge funds sell, when the banks sell, after they've caught the retail investor, the hedge fund, yeah, exactly. The hedge funds make the money. The institutions make the money. You see? So for me, I'm not really into trying to jump on the bandwagon because I did see last year, like with GameStop, right?
It's people who created generational wealth in GameStop. And bravo to them. I'm happy for you. Hey, all the credit, all the kudos, whatever to you. But that's a once in a lifetime thing. What I'm talking about on this channel, like that's honestly luck. I just put it like that. What I'm talking about on this channel is a methodical, fundamental way to become wealthy. Now, what they did, it worked for them. They got wealthy. If you got $2 million off of GameStop, like you're wealthy now. Like you don't have to work another day of your life. If you manage that money right, you never have to work a day in your life. But it's kind of like hitting the lottery. You never know which way it's gonna go. And so for me, I don't invest like that. I don't invest like that. I'm only going to invest in a company that I've studied, that I've researched, that I understand, and I've looked at the company from all different angles, and I can say, okay, this is a good company. This is something that I want to be a part of, and I'm willing to put my money in it. Yeah, that's basically what it is, right? It's like winning the lottery. Um, Cause so for me, when I buy a stock, like I buy a stock with the idea or the intention rather. Idea is not a good word. With the intention, I don't plan on ever selling. So my investment strategy, anything that I buy, I know that I'm getting a good deal on it. Like if I buy a certain company, I know that the company is worth far more than what I'm paying for it. Now, yes, the stock price might fluctuate up and down, right? On a day to day basis, a month to month basis. But I understand the fundamentals of the company, and I understand that it's a company that in the long run is going to make money. So, but that takes a lot of research. You have to do a lot of research. You have to, study their income statement, their balance sheet. Because there's some companies, I'll look at their balance sheet. I'm like, nope, you got too much debt, and that's a principle for me. So when you get principles on investing, you'll make certain decisions. Like I said, I can't remember what company it was, but I looked at their balance sheet. They had too much debt. I was like, nope. I don't invest in a company that's highly leveraged. You got too much debt. What if it gets to a point where you can't pay this debt off? Like, yeah, everything's going good right now. You can pay it, but what if it gets to a point where you can't pay it? Guess who's going to pay that price? The shareholder. I'm not investing in that. Too much risk. So, but you get that along the way as you study different companies. You study different strategies, different investment philosophies. But my philosophy is mostly Warren Buffett's. I read it. My philosophy is mostly Warren Buffett's philosophy, which Warren Buffett he said, to be a value investor. So my philosophy is rooted in Warren Buffett, and it's another great investor. He wrote a great book. It's called The Intelligent Investor. So his name is Benjamin. I believe it's Benjamin Graham. Those two right there, absolute geniuses. When it comes to investing. And so my philosophy on how I invest, I mean, it's another guy too who I read his book. I can't remember his name. He's really good too, but um, I would put Warren Buffett and Benjamin Graham ahead of this guy. Um, but yeah, that's how I invest. So for me, yeah, I wouldn't. It's too much skepticism. I wouldn't get on board with it. Now, I'm happy for people who do, but it's just not for me. I wouldn't. That's not how I invest. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any questions pertaining to compound interest? Excuse me, I'm about to drink out my. It's just me. I'm a single man. Yeah, so the thing about it is the retail investors, see, they don't know what they're doing. And so the banks and the hedge funds, they know that people don't know what they're doing. And so they eat their ass up. I mean, there's a reason why literally there's a movie, and it's not a joke. Like, this is not a joke either. There's a reason why the movie was called, and that the guy who starred in the movie. There's a reason why they called him this, the Wolf of Wall Street. Like, it's a dog. Like, on the in the stock market on Wall Street, it's a dog eat dog world. Like, they will take your money and give no fucks. Because how they look at it is, you should have known better. You should have known not to buy freaking GameStop at $500. Who the heck, if you look at the price to earning ratio, why the heck would GameStop be worth $500? It's not even probably worth 50. If you're just looking at the fundamentals, right? Which you assess the value of a company, you look at the price to earnings ratio, you look at the discounted cash flow analysis. I mean, the company not even worth 40, $50. So why are people over here buying it at $400 or $500? But the hedge funds know that. They be like, yeah, we gonna get them. Yep, we gonna get them. But so um, that's how they make their money. I mean, they don't care. And I look at it like this too. I side. Hold on, let me see. What do you think of putting all your money on a VTI? On VTI, just put all your money in its fund and forget about it. I think that I don't want to speak to Pacific index funds because I really don't want to be one to like give Pacific investment advice just because um, you never know how that can go. But index funds in general, I think, are an excellent place to put your money and just forget about it. Historically, if we're looking, if you go look on a graph, you can pull it up yourself, Braden. Going back to 1930, historically, even though the market has, dipped, came back up, historically since 1930, for instance, the Dow Jones has averaged, the S&P, they've all averaged about a 10% return since about 1930. So what that tells you is it's a proven vehicle for you to build wealth. You got basically, going back to 1930, it's 2022. You got 92 years of data that's supporting this, right? So it's not a question of if it's gonna happen. It's really a question of when. Because you got 92 years of data that's supporting that the stock market has consistently gone up. It has over time, right? Now the stock market has gone down. Yeah, we know the stock market is crashing and so forth. But over a period of time, stock market has consistently gone up. Has gone up. So I think yes, index funds are a great vehicle to just put your money in. You don't have to think a whole lot about it. Still, I would encourage you, Braden, if you have the time, it is better for you to learn how to pick certain stocks out, pick new companies out, and buy companies like that. Because think about it. Think about if you bought Amazon when Amazon before Amazon was Amazon. Think about it. Think about if you bought Google before Google was Google. Think about if you bought Apple before Apple was Apple. And there's a company like that every day coming out, but you gotta go find it. You gotta go do the research, and you gotta see what's gonna be the next Apple, what's gonna be the next Amazon, what's gonna be the next Google. Cause there's a company every day that's coming out. Some of them gonna fail. Some of them ain't gonna be here in 5 years. Some of them, one of them, might be the next Apple. So, um, but if you don't have the time for that, I definitely think that because it does take a lot of time. Like you have to take the time to do that kind of stuff. But um, index funds, you can't go wrong with those either. I mean, like I said, you'll probably get 10%. You know, that's historically what we've seen, average 10 to 12%. You know, if you're picking out your own companies, you're probably going to double that. Maybe you're getting 20, 30%, sometimes even more than that. Some people get 100, 200%. So it really just depends, right? Um, but I mean, on the playing field of compound interest, 10% good. If you consistently you working and you putting money in every month, every time you get paid and so forth over a period of time, 10% a good return. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not, trying to knock on 10%. I'm not trying to knock on any fund. 10% is good. you know, to get 10% to do nothing but invest your money and not even think about it and do nothing else, that's good. um, and you definitely will reap the benefits of compound interest with that vehicle as well. Honestly, if you're putting in, I'm gonna do a quick calculation in my head. If you're putting in $1,000 and you're making 10% return, I mean, I think by the time you're 40, you can probably go check it for me, Braden, like a ROI calculator, but you're probably by the time you're 40, you got close to $1 million if you're just putting $1,000 in, you know. But the name of the game is to live far below your means. So, like for me, I'm trying to put $3, $4,000 in these investments accounts every month. You know, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't eating out. I don't even got no girlfriend because that costs money. uh, I'm driving a little old Honda Civic. I mean, I'm living like bare bones. Only thing that I got, that I just had to get that I spend money on, but I'm blessed and I'm able to afford it is I do have an apartment. I do have a nice apartment, So I do have that. That is an expense. I pay rent every month. But outside of that, I have no other expenses. And that's the name of the game so that you can put living below your means as most smart people do, yeah. Because if you put I'm show you the calculation, you put in $3,000 4,000, man, over 10 years, man, if you're getting 10% return, you got $1 billion over 10 years. I kid you not, Brayden. If you're getting a 10% return each year and you can put $3,000 4,000 in every month in 10 years, by the time, like, I don't know how old you are, Brayden, but I'm 23. By the time I'm 33, 34, I got $1 million. I don't gotta do, after you make a million, you ain't gotta do nothing else. You get $1 million, you ain't gotta do nothing else. I mean, at that point, you just really working because you just want to have something to do. But after you got $1 million, if you ain't stupid, if you ain't, going and doing something stupid with the money, you ain't gotta do nothing. You can go sit on your little porch, wherever you want to go to, and just chill. So that's how I look at it. Like, shit, I'm 23. I'm gonna bust my butt. By the time I'm 34, 35, I bet you I be chilling, and everybody else around me gonna be working their ass off. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with giving up 10 years of my life so that, man, because I plan on living to be 70, 80 years old, maybe 90, if God bless me. I'll give up 10 years of my life to be chilling for the next 30, 40 years. Living life on my, because it's something special, Braden. I don't know how you feel about this. You tell me what you think. It's something special about living life on your own terms. Because at that point, if you got $1 million and you making, let's say you put it in some dividends at that point, you switch over from the index fund and you go buy, like, a dividend company. At that point, you can go get you a $50,000, $60,000 income from the dividends. You living life on your own terms. Like, if you want to work, you can work, right? But if you don't want to work, you don't have. It's not like it's a difference when you go to work because you like You have to go to that motherfucker, or you gonna be out on the streets and you going to work because this is just something I love to do. I genuinely like just this is my life's work. It's a different feeling of work, you know. And that's why, like for me, I'm blessed. Even though I'm not at a point like that financially, what I do, I love what I do. I get to do something that I love every day. So for me, it's not work. It's really not, you know. So I can only imagine once I get the $1 million, $2 million. Um, man, I'm be living, man, be living life on my own terms, man. And that's the name of the game. You want to live life on your own terms, not on somebody else's terms. I was talking to a client that I have. Man, I mean the lady's drowning in debt. I mean she has a $400,000-$500,000 house. Um, she has a $50,000 Audi. You know, she is a slave to the lender. You know they say, I think it's a saying in the Bible, the borrower is a slave to the lender. She's a slave to the lender. She cannot not go to work. She has no emergency fund. I don't want to be like that. I ain't gonna be no slave to nobody. I do what the fuck I want to do. Excuse my language. I try not to curse on my platform, but I'm gonna do what the heck I want to do. I ain't doing what the bank say I need to do or what these other people say I need to do. I'm doing what I want to do, and I think that's the best way to live life. Oh man. So yeah, that's the name of the game, man. You can get you some assets, man. Do you watch Richard? I don't watch Richard Fain. I don't know. I have no idea who Richard Fain is. I'm trying to plug my phone in, Brayden, because he gets solid advice just like you. I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm gonna have to check him out. Um, I'm gonna check him out because I have not heard. I didn't even heard of the guy. I didn't even know there was a Richard Fain. So I will definitely check him out once we get off of this live. Um, but yeah, Brady, I'm really glad that we've had a nice conversation. I'm really glad that you decided to tune in. I'm walking around my apartment right now, so just excuse me. I'm trying to find this charger because I have no idea where it's at, and I don't want to die on you. Especially if you have more information you would like to extract from this brain. I would like to help you out as much as I can while I'm here, cause Lord knows we don't know when I'm coming back. Oh man. But all jokes aside, I think that this I think that this formula will work a lot better um, for making the videos. Giving people the knowledge. Cause I know, like, I lose a lot of people though, Brayden. Cause like, when you're not making videos consistently, people stop following you. They'll go to somebody else, who's consistent and so forth. So I know that and I understand that, and that's why it's just like, okay, well, what can I do to like get around this? What can I do? And so I found out that you can live stream on your phone. I was like, all right, bet. I'll be live streaming as much as I can because I got like literally if I open up my notes app, I got so many like content ideas that I want to make and like talk about and like share with people. But I just don't have time to like sit down and make those really like pretty cinematic videos like I see some people make. these cinematic videos look like a movie. I don't got time for that. I work 10 hours a day. You know, I just don't. I'm not at that place where I can do that. You know, I just got off. I just got me some dinner before I started this live right now. So, you know, I gotta do kind of what's gonna work for me, and hopefully I can help out a lot of people, man. Cause we in a bad state. This is the message I'm preaching, man. We are in a bad state. Like, man. But yeah, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, man, like I said, man, stay tuned for the lives. What? Okay, before you go though, Braden, what would be a good way in your mind for me to like? Cause I would like these lives to be like very engaging, like where there's like a lot more people who are like watching it. We can have like more dialogue going. What do you think that I should do to like bring more people into these lives so that I can share like this stuff with more people? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably just the more I do it, probably more people will just start to gravitate. Do you think I should schedule stuff? Would that be good if I schedule, or should I just pop on this bad boy like whenever I can pop on it? Okay, that's a bit. All right, buddy. Well, I'm gonna get some stuff put together. Man, I really appreciate you coming by. It was great chatting with you. Take care, okay? I'm gonna check out that guy, Richard Fain. I'm gonna check him out right now. But yeah, man, take care.